Alright, so I just had this position pop up in one of my online games, and I thought we could get a little in-game lesson out of it because I found it to be instructive that my opponent was 2350 on Lichess and did not know this in-game. And I'm getting shocked more and more how players do not know very, very basic endings. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So the last move that was played in the game was a5. Now, my g6 rook is tethered to defense of my g-pawn. And there's no easy way to try to make progress here. The longer I wait, the more chances I'm giving black to advance his a-pawn. If you try to go after the f-pawn with a move like this, I mean, we lose on the spot after bishop f6. So I say, all right, rook a7. I'm just going to get behind your pawn. And then when I see a4, I check. And then I calculate quickly, because this is a 3-2 game, and I've got about 20 seconds, that it is going to be much better for me to try to play with a liquidated ending. So king g5, and my opponent thinks here. I'm like, okay, so he sees the idea. Takes, 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 takes. And after check and king d5, he offers me a draw. And this is normally a sign, if someone offers a draw from a position like this, it's basically saying, all right, you're wasting your time, I know how to do this. Now, I in fact had seen this position before in a tournament game, and when I was watching the tournament game in progress, and it was between International Master Danny Wrench and Grandmaster Julio Becerra in Atlanta at the Castle Chess Grand Prix. And I remember seeing and thinking, you know, if I'm ever on the rook side of this, I'm definitely going to press and try to win. But it's pretty clear, if your opponent knows the drawing method here, that there is a point A to B thinking, effortless drawing manner that my opponent did not know. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a video. And I just found it instructive that a 2300 Lichess player with time on the clock to think did not know this drawing method. Well, before I go further in the video, if you don't know this, I want you to pause and try to figure it out. What you would do with black. And if it's just shuffle around and hope for the best, I'm pretty sure that's what my opponent did, and he lost the game. So, okay, for those that paused, I gave you some time. For those that didn't pause, let's get right to it. Well, when looking at this position, you should have a goal. And that goal is to reach a corner with your king. But which corner? So it is going to make a pretty significant difference for black. If you don't reach a corner, you're looking to lose. But let's say you do. I'm going to give you the choice between, say, theoretically this corner or this corner. Which one is better for the king and why? If you understand this concept, you understand what the plan is for black and how he can draw this without thinking. All right, hopefully you said the a8 corner is what you want to go for, and that's the easiest corner to get to for the king as well. Now, let's say objectively, after king f5, bishop d4 was played, and really, bishop c7 should be played, and I'm just going to move my king. Then gradually, it's like we're admitting that we will be happy to just go to the corner. And the point is going to be, how is white going to checkmate us? Because here, I mean, I'm just going to move my bishop. So, okay, well, We'll put the king here. All right, I'm going to move my bishop. All right, looking like we're dead meat here. I'm going to move the bishop. And here we have the idea. How does white make progress? Move the rook over here. Stalemate. And if after this move, say we move the rook here. All right, I'm just going to move my bishop on the diagonal. You check me out of the corner, I'm going to move. I'm going to go back in the corner, and I'm going to keep moving my bishop along this diagonal with the idea of stalemating myself. That's all you need to know. That's it. You don't have to study this position. It's an idea that you need to have in your head and keep there. Most simple endgames work this way. It's a single idea that you need to remember, and that's the memory marker for everything. So I found it very interesting that my opponent offered a draw and then immediately started playing inaccurately. I mean, I know I have a draw in hand if I wanted at any point in time. Plays bishop c5. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can make progress here. So I'm going to go rook a8. And opposition with the king. So I'm trying to push the king along, and it's going swimmingly. But he's going towards the correct corner, but his bishop's a bit awkward. So I'm just doing what I can. You know, no acts of subtlety here. I'm not trying to force anything. Also, keep in mind, this is a blitz game, so time could become a factor. And after this, we get another slight misstep. So the king's not quite in the corner. So now it's important, it's critical. What's best for white? Well, we want to attack with tempo. There's only one good rook move here, in my opinion, because I'm bothering the bishop. Bishop's got to move. And notice, whoop, not there. If only we had this type of move. But it's not as good. It may work immediately here, honestly. I move the king, and I win. But I had a very particular idea in mind here. That I saw that I could run him out of moves, and I wanted to show this idea. Because now the king has to move away from the bishop. So, two morals. One, again, draw offers. I believe, like Kasparov, that the only time you should offer a draw is when you are winning or better. You have the better position, but you do not believe it is enough to win. So if white offered a draw here, I think it would be completely appropriate from the king and rook versus king and bishop endgame. Not in this position, it's 100% won, but say 10 moves ago. If he felt black had the technique. Like if I was playing against a GM, I mean, I would play on no matter what, I'm going to be honest. But I don't think anybody would fault me for offering a draw. King and rook versus king and bishop versus a GM. Especially if they're showing they understand the drawing method. And the second is, just because it's in the endgame book, the endgame book will show how this is a draw, but it probably takes 20 pages to explain it. I just want the one idea, picture done. If you're on the winning side of a draw, the better side of it, there is no reason not to press and play, and this is why. And basically, I just pretended that he didn't have the bishop. How would I be trying to checkmate anyway? And there was my plan for white. So a little bit of in-game ideas and practice for you, and maybe a little insight into how I perceive endgames and how I study them. I do remember specific games and studies with this type of endgame. Maybe it'll change up how you perceive certain in-game positions, because I definitely think there are certain pictures and ideas that you absolutely need to know, and this is one of them: king and bishop versus king and rook.